Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in, especially to all of you out there who've been asking for a deep dive into AI and productivity. You know who you are.
Always happy to explore the cutting edge, especially when it involves something as universal as productivity.
Right. Who doesn't want to squeeze a little more out of their day?
Mhm.
So we're going to take a look at this podcast episode, and honestly, I think they went a little overboard with the title.
Just a bit. The 5 a.m. AI routine. How to build a billionaire morning habit. You've got to admit it grabs your attention, though.
Yeah, total clickbait, but hey, maybe there's actually something to this whole billionaire morning routine thing.
It does make you wonder if there's some secret sauce they've discovered.
And if AI can really play a part in it, right? So that's our mission for this deep dive. Let's sift through the hype and see if there are any practical takeaways about how AI can supercharge our productivity, particularly when it comes to our morning routines.
Sounds good to me.
The first thing that jumped out at me was this huge emphasis on the 5 a.m. wake-up time. They kept mentioning folks like Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey, Tim Ferriss, all these high achievers who swear by getting up before the sun.
Yeah, it's almost like they're implying that if you want to reach billionaire status, you have to join the 5 a.m. club.
But is that really true? Is there something inherently special about that hour, or is it just another productivity myth?
Well, I think there's a reason why so many successful people gravitate toward early mornings. There's something to be said for having that quiet time to focus before the world demands your attention. When you can tap into that flow state and really dive deep into important work without distractions.
I totally get that. It's like having a head start on the day, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're carving out this sacred space for yourself before the chaos begins. And there's even some scientific backing to this idea. Studies have shown that our brains are often at their sharpest during the early morning hours. It's like that's when our cognitive abilities are naturally primed for deep thinking and problem solving.
That's fascinating. So maybe there is some truth to the early bird gets the worm thing after all.
Perhaps. But we also have to acknowledge that a 5 a.m. wake up doesn't work for everyone.
You're telling me? I'm not sure I'd be very productive if I was dragging myself out of bed at that hour.
Right. We all have our own internal clocks, or what sleep scientists call our chronotype. Some of us are naturally early risers, while others are night owls. And trying to force yourself into a schedule that clashes with your natural rhythms can backfire big time. You'll end up sleep deprived and less productive, which is the opposite of what we're aiming for.
So instead of getting fixated on the specific time, maybe the key takeaway here is about creating that dedicated space in your morning for focused work, whether that's at 5 a.m. or 9 a.m., whatever works best for you.
Exactly. It's about finding your own rhythm and building a routine that supports your peak performance times.
Makes sense. Now let's shift gears and talk about the AI side of things. The podcast we're looking at was really hyped about all these AI-powered tools that can supposedly revolutionize our morning routines. Personalized playlists, AI assistants managing our schedules, guided meditation apps, you name it.
It's definitely an intriguing idea. Imagine waking up to a playlist that's perfectly tailored to your mood and energy levels, or having an AI assistant that preps your to-do list based on your deadlines and priorities.
Yeah, I mean, some of those tools are already out there, right? Like using Alexa or Google Assistant to check your calendar or listen to the news. I've even been using this sleep tracking app called Sleep Cycle, which is supposed to use AI to wake you up at the optimal point in your sleep cycle so you feel more rested.
I've heard of that one. So you're already dipping your toes into the AI-powered morning routine waters.
Sort of, but I'm still on the fence about how much AI can actually enhance these routines. Is it really a game changer, or is it just another layer of technology that might actually distract us more than it helps?
Well, I think the key here is personalization. AI algorithms are designed to learn from your data and adapt to your individual needs and preferences. So the more you use these tools, the better they become at tailoring their recommendations to you. It's like having a virtual assistant that gets to know you better over time and can anticipate your needs.
That's pretty cool, but it also raises some concerns about privacy, right? Like, how
Right.
much personal data are we surrendering to these AI systems?
That's a valid point. There is a definite trade-off between personalization and privacy, and we need to be mindful of that as AI becomes more integrated into our lives. We need to understand what data we're sharing and what implications that might have for our privacy and security.
It's a bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it? And then there's the whole issue of becoming too reliant on technology. What happens if the Wi-Fi goes out or my phone dies? Can I still function and be productive on my own?
It's a good question to ask ourselves. I think it's important to find a balance. Using AI as a tool to enhance our productivity is great, but we don't want to become so dependent on it that we lose our own abilities to think critically and solve problems independently.
So finding that sweet spot where AI is helping us without hindering our own cognitive skills is key.
Absolutely.
Now, the podcast laid out this five-step framework they call and I'm not making this up, the Billionaire Morning Blueprint. It's all about integrating AI into every aspect of your morning routine, starting with what they call mindset mastery, through gratitude exercises and visualizations. Then it's on to boosting physical energy, followed by AI-guided meditation or journaling for mental clarity. From there, they recommend using AI for strategic planning and prioritizing tasks. And finally, they emphasize dedicating time for learning through reading or podcasts.
It's a pretty comprehensive blueprint. I'm curious to unpack each of these steps and see if AI really adds value or if it's just a fancy tech layer on top of things we've already been doing for ages.
All right, so let's dive into that, starting with this mindset mastery piece, focusing on gratitude and visualizing your goals. Do we really need AI for that? Or could it actually distract from the simplicity and power of those practices?
That's a great question. It's worth exploring whether an app can really deepen your sense of gratitude or if simply taking a few moments to reflect on what you're thankful for might be more effective.
Exactly. Sometimes I wonder if all this technology actually creates more distance between us and the things we're trying to cultivate, like gratitude or mindfulness.
I see your point. It's almost like we're outsourcing our emotions to algorithms.
And when it comes to physical energy, I'm not sure how AI really fits in. It's not like it can work out for us, right? Isn't it more about making the conscious decision to move our bodies, whether that's going for a run, hitting the gym, or doing some yoga?
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're the one who has to put in the physical effort, but AI could play a role in personalizing your workouts and keeping you motivated.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
Well, there are these fitness apps that use AI to create workout plans based on your fitness level, goals, even your musical preferences. And some can even adjust your workout in real time based on your heart rate and exertion levels. It's like having a virtual personal trainer right in your pocket.
So it's more about providing that extra layer of guidance and support.
Exactly. And for some people, that can make a huge difference in their fitness journey.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what about the mental clarity piece? The podcast was really big on using AI for guided meditation and journaling.
I've tried a few of those AI-powered meditation apps, and I have to admit, I'm still on the fence about them. Sometimes I find the AI voice a bit distracting, and I wonder if it takes away from the simplicity and quiet that I'm seeking for meditation.
I feel you. There's something to be said for unplugging and just being present with your thoughts and feelings without any tech interference.
It comes down to personal preference, I think. Some people might find the structure and guidance of an AI-powered app helpful, especially if they're new to meditation, but others might prefer a more traditional tech-free approach.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Definitely not. Now, what about using AI for strategic planning? I can totally see how an AI assistant could be a game changer for managing your to-do list and prioritizing tasks based on deadlines and importance.
Yeah, imagine having an AI that analyzes your calendar, emails, and even past behavior patterns to help you allocate your time more effectively and eliminate those time-wasting activities that suck the life out of our day.
Right. It could help you stay organized and focused on what truly matters.
That sounds amazing, but doesn't it also kind of make you wonder, are we just becoming passive passengers, letting the AI make all the decisions for us?
That's the danger of relying too heavily on AI. We need to be mindful of maintaining our own agency and decision-making abilities, making sure we're not just blindly following what the algorithm tells us to do.
So it's all about finding that balance, using AI to enhance our productivity without sacrificing our own critical thinking and decision-making skills.
Exactly.
All right, so we've covered mindset, physical energy, mental clarity, and strategic planning. That leaves us with the final step in their blueprint, which was all about continuous learning.
They talked about reading and listening to podcasts as ways to expand your knowledge base, which is kind of funny considering we're doing exactly that right now.
Huh. It is a bit meta, isn't it?
But their point about lifelong learning is spot on, especially in this world where everything is constantly evolving.
Absolutely. Staying curious, engaging with new ideas, and investing in our personal and professional growth is more important than ever. And I can definitely see how AI can play a valuable role in that journey.
Definitely. There are some really cool AI-powered learning platforms out there that can personalize your learning experience, curate content based on your interests and goals, and even provide real-time feedback and guidance. It's like having a custom-designed curriculum tailored to your unique needs.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. We've looked at the 5 a.m. phenomenon, explored the potential benefits and drawbacks of integrating AI into morning routines, and we've started to unpack the steps of their so-called billionaire morning blueprint. What are your initial thoughts on this blueprint, and how practical and beneficial do you think it could actually be?
Well, it's definitely a thought-provoking framework, but I think we need to approach it with a healthy dose of skepticism. They present it as this foolproof recipe for success, but in reality, things are much more nuanced.
You're right. It's tempting to think that if we just follow these steps and sprinkle in some AI magic, we'll automatically achieve billionaire status. But success isn't a one-size-fits-all formula.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to remember that these productivity concepts aren't new. People have been talking about the power of morning routines, goal setting, and habit formation long before AI came along.
So maybe AI is just the latest shiny object being marketed as a productivity booster.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype, but instead of blindly adopting every new AI-powered tool or framework, I think it's more valuable to focus on the underlying principles of productivity and well-being, and then consider how AI might enhance those principles in a way that aligns with our individual needs and values.
Okay, I like that approach.
Mhm.
So let's go back to their blueprint and break it down step by step.
Let's do it. One of the steps that really stood out to me was this whole mindset mastery thing, incorporating gratitude practices and visualization techniques into your morning routine.
Right. I'm a big believer in the power of gratitude,
Mhm.
but I'm not quite sure how AI really fits into that equation. I mean, can an app really deepen your sense of gratitude?
It's a really good question. Could an AI-powered app truly enhance that experience, or could it potentially become a distraction from the simple act of reflecting on what you're grateful for?
Yeah.
Just taking those few moments to really appreciate the good things in your life.
I've tried using some gratitude apps in the past.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that prompt you to write down what you're thankful for.
Yeah.
And I found that sometimes I end up focusing more on completing the task within the app than actually feeling grateful.
I can see that happening. It's like sometimes technology can create this weird layer of separation between us and the present moment.
Mm.
Instead of just being present with our thoughts and feelings, we're kind of filtering them through this digital lens.
Exactly. And I think that's something to be really mindful of when we're talking about integrating AI into these very personal and introspective practices.
Absolutely. It's not always about adding more tech. It's about finding what truly supports and enhances our well-being.
Right. So maybe sometimes the simplest approach is the best.
Sometimes less is more.
Definitely. Now, the blueprint also mentioned using AI for guided meditation. And I've had a similar experience with that.
About it.
I've experimented with some of those AI-powered meditation apps.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes I find that the AI voice can actually be a bit distracting.
I know what you mean.
It's like my brain gets caught up analyzing the technology instead of just relaxing and being present.
It makes sense, though, right? Our brains are wired to pay attention to novelty and stimulation. So it's natural that we might be more drawn to the technological bells and whistles than to the quiet simplicity of traditional meditation.
Yeah, it's almost like our brains are saying, ooh, something new and shiny. Let's focus on that.
Exactly. And that can pull us out of that calm meditative state.
So maybe the key is to use these AI tools as a stepping stone. Once you've learned the basics of meditation with the help of an app, maybe you can gradually transition to a more self-guided practice.
That's a great point. It's about using AI as a tool to support our growth, not to become a permanent crutch.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like training wheels for your mind.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about mindset and meditation. What about the next step in their blueprint, which was all about boosting physical energy?
Yeah, that one's interesting. They didn't really go into a lot of detail on how AI could enhance that area. But I'm curious to explore it a bit further. I mean, obviously, AI can't physically exercise for us, but maybe it can play a role in motivating us or personalizing our workouts.
Right. It's not like AI can magically make us go for a run.
Unless they invent some kind of robot that drags us out of bed and onto the treadmill.
I'm not sure I'd want that.
Me neither. But there are some pretty cool fitness apps out there that use AI to analyze your fitness level, track your progress, and even create customized workout plans based on your goals and preferences.
I've seen ads for those. Some of them even claim to adjust your workout in real time based on your heart rate and exertion levels. It's like having a virtual personal trainer right there with you.
Exactly. And for some people, that level of personalization and guidance can be incredibly motivating. It's like having someone there to cheer you on and make sure you're pushing yourself just enough, but not too much.
Yeah, I can see how that could be really helpful, especially if you're someone who struggles with staying motivated or knowing how to structure your workouts effectively.
Right. And AI can also be used to track other aspects of your health and fitness, like your nutrition, your sleep patterns, even your stress levels. By gathering and analyzing all this data, AI can provide you with insights and recommendations that might help you optimize your overall well-being.
It's like having a health and fitness concierge curating a personalized plan just for you.
That's a great way to put it.
Right.
But again, it's important to remember that AI is a tool, not a magic bullet.
Right.
You still need to put in the effort and make conscious choices to support your health and fitness goals.
Absolutely. So it's like AI can be a valuable partner in your fitness journey, but it's not a substitute for your own commitment and dedication.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered mindset, physical energy now. Let's move on to their step on mental clarity, which they said could be achieved through things like journaling and prioritizing tasks.
Okay, so when it comes to journaling, AI can actually be used to analyze the content of your journal entries and identify patterns in your thoughts and emotions. This could potentially help you gain a deeper understanding of yourself and your inner workings. Like maybe you notice that you tend to write about certain topics when you're feeling stressed or anxious.
I can see how that could be helpful,
Yeah.
especially if you're trying to make a major life change or working through a particular issue. It's like having an objective observer helping you make sense of your own thoughts and feelings.
Right. And some AI-powered journaling apps can even prompt you with questions or suggest topics to write about, which can be helpful if you're feeling stuck or don't know where to start.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
And then when it comes to prioritizing tasks, I think AI can be a total game changer in that area. There are so many AI-powered task management apps out there that can help you organize your to-do lists, set deadlines, prioritize tasks based on urgency and importance, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I've tried a few of those,
Yeah.
and I'm always amazed by how quickly they can sort through my to-do list and figure out what needs my attention first.
It's like having a super efficient personal assistant who never gets tired or complains.
Exactly. But I do wonder about the potential downsides of letting AI take over our to-do lists. I mean,
Yeah.
what if the AI misinterprets our priorities or overlooks something important?
It's a valid concern. AI is still in its early stages of development, and it's not perfect. We need to use our own judgment and critical thinking skills to evaluate the recommendations provided by AI and make sure they actually align with our true priorities and goals.
So it's a partnership, not a dictatorship. We're collaborating with AI to enhance our productivity, not handing over the reins completely.
Exactly. And I think that's a really important point to keep in mind as we navigate this increasingly AI-powered world. It's about finding that balance between leveraging the power of technology while also maintaining our own agency and decision-making abilities.
Right. It's about being in the driver's seat, not just along for the ride.
Exactly. So we've covered 4 steps in their blueprint mindset: physical energy, mental clarity, and strategic planning.
That leaves us with their final step, which focused on the importance of continuous learning.
They specifically mention reading and listening to podcasts as ways to expand your knowledge base. But I think the broader message here is about staying curious, engaging with new ideas, and investing in your own personal and professional growth,
Right.
whatever that looks like for you.
Right. It doesn't necessarily have to be limited to books and podcasts.
Definitely not. There are so many ways to learn and grow.
Exactly. The key is to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
To make a conscious effort to continuously expand your knowledge and skills.
And I think AI can play a really valuable role in that journey. There are all these incredible AI-powered learning platforms out there that can personalize your learning experience, curate content based on your interests and goals, and even provide real-time feedback and guidance. It's like having a custom-designed curriculum tailored just for you.
That sounds amazing. It's like AI is opening up a whole new world of learning possibilities.
It really is. But I think it's also important to be mindful of the potential downsides of relying too heavily on AI for our learning. If we're not careful, we could end up in these filter bubbles where we're only exposed to information that confirms our existing beliefs and biases.
That's a really good point. We don't want to become so reliant on AI that we lose our ability to think critically and challenge our own assumptions.
Right. It's about using AI to broaden our horizons, not narrow them.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this second part of our deep dive, what are some key takeaways that you think our listeners should keep in mind?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that AI can be a really powerful tool for enhancing productivity and well-being, But it's not a magic solution.
Right.
It's not going to solve all our problems or magically transform our lives overnight.
Right. It's not like we can just download an AI app and suddenly become super productive and perfectly balanced individuals.
Exactly. It takes effort and intentionality on our part. We
Hmm.
need to be active participants in our own growth and development, using AI as a tool to support our goals, not replace our own agency.
It's about being mindful and intentional about how we integrate AI into our lives.
Absolutely. It really boils down to understanding that AI is a tool. It's not some magical solution that's going to fix everything for us. It's not a cure-all.
It's like we've seen how AI can personalize things, like our morning routines,
Yeah.
and it can give us really cool insights into our habits and even, like you said, help us learn more effectively. But we can't just hand over control and expect it to just, solve all our problems for us.
Exactly. We have to be active in our own growth. We can't become passive and just let the AI run the show, right? We have to maintain our own sense of agency.
Right. It's about using it as a tool to reach our goals, not as a replacement for, like, our own efforts and decision making.
Yeah, think of it like having a co-pilot. You're still the pilot, you're in charge, you make the decisions, you navigate, but you've got this awesome co-pilot who's there to help you along the way, make things a little smoother, and offer some guidance.
I love that analogy. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's bring it back to our listeners. If you were to try incorporating one AI tool into your morning routine, what would it be and why?
Ooh, that's the big question. And it really depends on you, on what you need, what your goals are, what are you struggling with, what do you want to improve.
Yeah, like, are you having trouble sleeping? Maybe an AI-powered sleep tracker could be helpful. Or maybe you just feel overwhelmed by your to-do list. An AI assistant that can prioritize things for you might be a game changer.
Or maybe you're interested in meditation but can never seem to stick with it. An AI-guided meditation app could be a good place to start.
Exactly. The key is to pick something that addresses a real challenge you're facing, or that helps you move toward a specific goal. Don't just jump on the AI bandwagon because it's trendy. Be thoughtful about it.
Think about what you really want to change or improve in your life. How can AI help you get there?
And don't be afraid to experiment. Try different things, see what works for you. What works for one person might not work for another, right?
Totally. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. And remember, this is a journey, not a destination.
Well said. It's all about finding what works best for you and using technology in a way that truly supports your well-being and helps you live a more fulfilling life.
That's it. And on that note, we encourage you to keep exploring AI and its potential. Stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you back here soon.